It is July here in year number 3. We're 50-37 in a really good position so far this season. I wanted to get the beginning of this episode started with a couple of games here against the Rays and the Yankees. Kemp Alderman is somebody who has done very well in this season. Of course, he made the thumbnail in the last episode. Continues to really surprise me. Rule 5 pickup as we do drop this game here against the Rays. Sean Skinner with an RBI. And along with Luis Rengifo, Sean Skinner kind of struggling a little bit. Of course, we hit his first big league home run, so that's always pretty cool. But a lost 2-hit day for Mike Trout as he also homered the 21st home run on the season. Griffin Cannon goes 7, allowing 1 earned. But it was Robert Stevenson and Andrew Wantz who allowed the 2 earned late in the game. Chase Silseth and Caleb Ferguson both allowed no earned. Yeah, I mean, the pitching has been really good. It's been our strongest, position group all season long. Fernando Guillen being one of those guys. Has a 1.79 ERA, 0.98 whip. It's pretty expected to have a couple of bad outings by your pitchers. When they have been dominant all season long, you're bound to eventually give something up. As Yandy Diaz comes to the plate, and he goes down swinging at a 94-mile-per-hour fastball from Fernando Guillen. Now it's Randy Arozarena, and he goes down swinging on the splitter. So 2 strikeouts for Fernando Guillen in the first inning, and that's higher than what is average. Brandon Lowe now, 222 average, as he's going to go down swinging on the 4-seam. It's the 3rd strikeout for Fernando Guillen. He's dealing to this point in the game. Here's Isaac Paredes, 233 average, and he's going to send this one to deep left field. This one looks like it's drifting foul, and it is going to be a home run. Paredes 101 off the bat. The whole time I thought that one right there was going to be a foul ball. 19 home runs on the season, only 337 feet. How you look at it here in the air, it did look like it was drifting foul the entire time and then just snuck inside the foul pole. And there's going to be a 1-0 lead for the Rays, as that's going to be the 4th strikeout for Fernando Guillen. That is a pretty good looking pitch there, and if Fernando Guillen can work on the strikeouts and start throwing more strikeouts, I think we'll be happy with that, as Brandon Lowe is going to hit this one deep to right field to give the Tampa Bay Rays a 2-0 lead. As that one was crushed. Fernando Guillen hasn't really given up too many home runs this season. That's the 2nd he's given up in this game. As here's Jose Siri now. He's 0 for 1, and he's going to go down swinging at the 4-seam. 93 miles per hour. Fernando Guillen with 5 strikeouts. This is a ridiculous showing on a mound. Gave up the home runs, but the strikeouts are there. Strikeout number 6 for Fernando Guillen through 4 innings of work. K-9 is going to go up after this one. Jose Caballero now 1 for 1 on the day, and he's going to go down looking at the splitter. 7 strikeouts for Fernando Guillen. Yeah, you can't get much better than this right here, as Yandy Diaz is going to crush this one to left field, though, and that is going to end Fernando Guillen's day. He makes it about 5 innings, allowing the 7 strikeouts, though, so you got to be pleased with that. That is a step in the right direction in that aspect of his game. Of course, you don't want to see him give up 3 home runs, but it is what it is. Chase Silseth would come on to the mound, and he's having a Cy Young candidate season right now. We would lose this game 8-1, though, as Alec Boehm gave us our only RBI on the day. That's 2 losses in a row to start the month of July. And you don't want to see that. No home runs in this game. Chase Silseth did struggle, allowing 3 and 1 2/3. But I want to get a game here against the New York Yankees, as Mike Trout's going to hit this one hard to left field, but it's going to be hit right to the left fielder, 110 off the bat. That's an unfortunate out. As we go bottom 8 now, we're getting crushed 11-2. Runner on first here for Trout. 2-1 count. Lucas Giolito still in the game, but he's going to give up a long ball to Mike Trout, 116 miles per hour off the bat. I don't get it. We're seeing rating regressions out of Mike Trout, but he's still playing at an extremely high level. We would lose this game as well, 11-5, Mickey Moniak with an RBI, but it wouldn't matter in the end. Like I said, Mike Trout is playing at a MVP level, 22 home runs on the season, and Logan O'Hoppe with 8, as he homered as well. John Means gave up 5. Ronnie Enriquez and Caleb Ferguson each gave up 3. Pitching is struggling here at the beginning of July as we start it off with an 0-3 record. That's not what you want to see. Final game here against the Yankees. This is game 2 of the series, but before we get into the full swing of the video, We're going to play a full game here against Garrett Cole as Kemp Alderman with his 280 average, and he's going to crush this one deep to left field. This guy is on fire. 98 miles per hour off the bat as he continues to impress. The Rule 5 pickup, maybe going to make a push for Rookie of the Year potentially, as that's home run number 9 on the season, 390 feet. If he can keep this up all season long, he could be a guy who helps us make the playoffs. Never would have thought that he would be the guy that could do that, as I even thought about sending him back to his original team at one point. Thankfully, we didn't do that, but Nolan Shanuel does not have a lot of pop in his bat, but in this instance, he does. 110 miles per hour off the bat gives us an early 2-0 lead here against Garrett Cole. Got to be pleased with Nolan Shanuel hitting a couple of bombs here and there. Bottom 2, we stay as Sean Skinner has 2 runners on for him. Garrett Cole, 29 pitches in the game, as this one's going to be hit down the line. Sean Skinner is going to pick himself up an RBI. Runner will advance to third. Here's the throw, and he is safe as there was no tag. Sean Skinner with an RBI single. If he can do things like that, he'll be on this team for a while. Here's Alec Bohm now. Runners on first and second with 2 away, 2-2 count. As Bohm is going to hit this one to left center. This one will get down and score 1 at least. This one should score 2 as Bohm is going to cruise in a second with a 2 RBI double to give us an early 5-0 lead here in the second inning as we are pouring it on the Yankees. 17th double on the season, and that is going to be it for Garrett Cole. It's Ian Hamilton coming in the bottom of the second. 1 2/3 innings for Garrett Cole, one of the best pitchers in baseball, as Moniak's going to crush this one deep to right field, make it 7-0 early in this one. We are crushing these Yankees pitchers. This is exactly what we need to get back on the right track. We need explosive offense, and we need dominant pitching. 9th home run on the season for Moniak as we go bottom 3rd now. Ian Hamilton still in the game, looking to take advantage of him. As Rengifo is going to hit this one very well to center field. It scores 1, and it should maybe score a second run. We're going to hold him up at 3rd. It's an RBI double for Luis Rengifo here in the 3rd inning. 8-0 the score, the 16th double on the season for Luis Rengifo. And here's Mike Trout in the bottom of the 6th with a runner on first. He has some pop in his bat, and you're going to see it on display. Crushed to right center field. You're not going to get that one back. It's another Mike Trout home run. And I got to tell you what, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, or at some point I remember mentioning it. I wish I liked Mike Trout in real life as much as I do in this franchise. I love playing with Mike Trout in this franchise. As we go top 7 now, Michael King working on a complete game shutout, but Jorbit Vivas is going to crush this one off the rocks. It's going to be a 2-run bomb. The Yankees are on the board. Not to mention, it was his first career home run. So congratulations to Jorbit Vivas, who hits his first career home run off of Michael King in the 7th inning against the Angels. Here's Mike Trout, bottom 8, 1 for 4, already has 1 home run on the day. Dennis Santana on the mound. And Trout is going to get his 2nd home run if it stays fair, and it will. 2 home run day for Mike Trout. This guy's on a tear to prove everybody wrong. He, of course, like I said, is seeing a lot of rating regression for whatever reason, I don't know. But he's making people say, maybe he shouldn't be regressing as much rating-wise. As Ronnie Enriquez is brought in here in the 9th inning to try and finish this game out, as it's going to be Kemp Alderman playing it in right, and the Angels will win. Hopefully they can get them back on their winning ways as we came into the month of July 50-37, then we dropped 3 straight games to make us 50-40. 51-40 is where we stand at the moment. Angels win. Gotta love that sign. I think he's going to be wearing a Shohei Ohtani jersey. Maybe need to burn that one. As Alec Bohm has a 3-hit day. Mike Trout and Nolan Shanuel each with 2 hits. It was a bunch of home runs in today's game. 5 total. 2 of them by Mike Trout. Plenty of RBIs to go around. No stolen bases, though, as Michael King gives us 7 innings, 2 earned, and then Ronnie Enriquez, 2 innings, striking out 3. 51-40 is where we stand at the moment, as we're going to look to win this series here against the Yankees. But the big thing upcoming is our first scouting session on the season. Or not our first, our last scouting session of the season before we get to the MLB draft. I have some players in mind that I really like, and I'd love to show them to you. My favorite prospect in this upcoming draft has got to be Kenji Nakamura from Japan. The big lefty is somebody who's going to not walk a whole lot of batters. The strikeouts are going to be something that he has to work on, but the pitch velocity, 86-91, has a four-seam fastball that could reach up to 99 miles per hour, and an electric 12-6 curve to go with it. He is my favorite prospect. If he's there, he's going to be a player that's extremely hard to pass on. But another player that's going to be extremely hard to pass on is Roger Funk. He is 66th on the MLB board, but 3rd on our board. Looks to be an excellent contact hitting catcher. Could maybe have some power in the future. Vision and discipline is amazing. The arm strength is amazing. So he looks to be really good behind the plate. Can also play some third base. The potential looks like it's going to potentially be a potential. The overall will be a little low, but if Roger Funk is there, he's going to be a player that's extremely hard to pass on as well. And then there's 2 other pitchers that I would be considering for our first selection. Manuel Valenzuela from the Dominican Republic looks to be a very well-rounded pitcher. We just don't have that much information on him. Only 50% scouted, but it is a pretty good indication when you see that they were 17th on the MLB board and now 7th on your board. He looks well-rounded, but I'm looking for a lefty arm, and that's where Pablo Marrero comes into play. 86th on the MLB board, but 9th on ours, so this is a huge riser. He is a lefty from Venezuela. The walks per 9 looks really good, and then everything else looks to be about average in the future. But to start, he's going to have some well below average hits per 9, strikeouts per 9, and home runs per 9. I think Marrero could be pretty solid. I like his pitch mix with the fastball, slider, curve, and splitter. I'd like to see a changeup in there, but my main concern is his four-seam fastball, his primary pitch, is easily his worst pitch. And then looking down the board, there's some guys that I'm interested in. Charlie Spillane, 18 years old, not ranked on the MLB board, but the stamina, hits per 9, and walks per 9 all look to be really good. Not going to be a big strikeout guy, and the control is a little low, but two-seam fastball, changeup, slider, and curveball mix. I do like that pitch mix. He reminds me a lot of Fernando Guillen with those attributes there. He is 18 as opposed to, I think Guillen was 22 when we drafted him, but he could be a second-round selection. Along with Eldridge Jernigan. He throws lefty, but he bats righty, unfortunately, because we're looking for lefties in this class. But he is probably the best power hitter, best hitter overall. If he was better contact against righties, I'd probably be more interested in him, but his hitting looks amazing. Defensively, he is going to be a first baseman. He's not going to be able to play anywhere else, but Eldridge Jernigan is somebody that I would consider with that second selection. Barney Kent is another guy. This is a lefty, so he's got the pop in his bat. And that's pretty much it. He can play center, right, and left. He is a lefty, 6'4", 190 pounds out of California, 18 years old. If he's there for our second selection, he'd be somebody that I would be interested in. It's just a matter of who's going to be available when our selection comes up. Then you got Jason Sciambi here. He is a shortstop. The hitting doesn't really look great, but defensively, one of the better defensive shortstops in the game, and he's 21 years old, so he'd be probably a fast riser to the big league. 63rd on our board, not ranked on the MLB board, but somebody we could consider later in the draft. And then the last guy that I'll highlight here is James Fakwa, 6'4", 195 pounds. That strikeouts per 9, walks per 9, and pitch break all look excellent. That slider could be lethal, with the pitch break being, his best attribute. He is a riser, 104 on the MLB board, but 78th on ours. He is a right-handed pitcher, so that is something to think about as I'm looking for more lefties, like I've mentioned like 2 or 3 times already. But he is somebody that I will highlight as well. And then there's 3 guys down here that I'm also going to scout just to see if maybe they could be a candidate for that first selection. You have Juan Villarreal, who looks to be a really solid contact hitter. The vision and discipline, very good, and looks to have some speed to go with that out of Puerto Rico. And then you got Mikey Cruz, who I'm 40% scouted on. He is a left-handed bat. He can play second and short. The speed looks really good, and the contact versus right looks really good. The power could be there in the future, but that's why I'm going to scout him this last session to get a little bit more information on him. And then finally, Miguel Ramos, a switch hitter. Defensively, looks like he's going to be a little below average, but speed is there, vision and discipline there. Contact is there. 6 foot, 201 pounds out of Venezuela. 19 years old. If we can get some information on him, as we'll look to get about 35% scouted on him in this 1 week of scouting. So you got to take that into account, If Miguel Ramos is only 40% scouted, do you think about drafting him? Or do you want to draft somebody who you have 100% scouted? I think I would lean towards the latter. But that is our final look at scouting. The draft is in 6 days as we're looking to win this series against the New York Yankees. Andrew Wantz on the mound, top of the 9th, looking to close it out. Let's go ahead and enter here. as Gleyber Torres. In the game we just played where I destroyed the Yankees, Gleyber Torres was not playing in that game. This entire lineup looked really weak. I think Aaron Judge may be hurt, to be completely honest with you, because he wasn't in the lineup in the last game. And now you got Gleyber Torres, who is one of the better players here in the series. Fortunately for us, he doesn't hit righties as well as lefties. And you got to be careful not to walk in a run here, as Torres is going to foul away the circle change. Count goes to 2-2. One thing that I'm curious about is Gleyber Torres. Does he wear number 18 in real life? I know MLB The Show has not fixed that problem where players' numbers get changed, but I'm fairly certain he doesn't wear 18. But he's going to grab some pine as Andrew Wantz is going to strike him out on the 95-mile-per-hour fastball. We're 1 out away from winning the series against the Bronx Bombers. Austin Wells batting 5th here for the Yankees. He is 0 for 4 as he fouls away a perfect circle change to crush. Got 67 power against righties as this one's going to be hit deep to right field. Kemp Alderman on the move. This one's going to drop. It's going to score 2 for sure. Here comes the 3rd run. The relay, Neto to the plate, and the run will score. The Yankees have taken the lead as Andrew Wantz gives up a bases-clearing double to Austin Wells. And here's Oswaldo Cabrera. We may look to bring in Ben Joyce here if Andrew Wantz can't get this final out. 20 pitches in the inning. I'm pretty sure we should probably go ahead and just take him out. I think as soon as he walked, or the bases became loaded with 1 out, we probably should have taken him out. As this one's going to be hit to shallow left center field. Sean Skinner on the move. He's there for the final out, but 3 runs score for the Yankees as they take a 6-5 lead. We might as well finish this game out. As Logan O'Hoppe leading off the inning. He's batting 4th, 0 for 4 on the day. Big thing here is to just try and get a base runner on. It's walk-off home run or die in this situation. I will not go to extras against the Yankees. We need to hit a walk-off home run. Oh, that's the perfect pitch, and we just popped it up in foul territory for the first out. Perfect pitch to hit. We're just behind on it. Now you got Alec Boehm. He's 3 for 3 with a home run and 2 singles. He mashes lefties. And there's one guy who can tie this game up. It's Alec Boehm. Boehm having an all-star caliber season. That is a strike in on the black. As Boehm is down 1-2 in the count. Tyler Matzik, the 7th pitch for him upcoming, is going to miss for a ball. Count will go to 2-2. And I just swung at the worst pitch. A slider in at the hands had just fooled me. As now you got Luis Rengifo batting 6th. He's 0 for 3. He is our final chance in this game against the Yankees. We were 1 out away from winning the series, and now it looks like we may lose another series in a row. Rengifo can mash lefties as well. 91 contact, 74 power. Another very good pitch to swing at, and we're just early on it. I don't know how he missed that. 0-2 count from Matzik. And this one will hit Rengifo. So we have the game-tying run on first. And it's Andy Ibanez, 1 for 3. I'm curious if there's anybody else who we could think about pinch hitting in this situation. No, I'm going to go with Andy Ibanez in this case. Trying to turn on a fastball. 104 off the bat, but he hit it probably 60 meters foul, 60 yards foul. Andy Ibanez does have the power to walk this game off here. 64 power against lefties. He could definitely do it as the count goes to 1-2. Andy Ibanez has been so good for us this season. Can he be a hero? This one is going to be called strike 3. They say Ibanez went around the throw down to first, and the Yankees have won the game, and they have won the series. 3 hits for Alec Boehm. Kemp Alderman with a hit as well. Home run for Trout and Boehm. The 25th home run for Mike Trout. Jordan Montgomery did a really solid job. Robert Stevenson continuing to struggle in his final year of his contract. Andrew Wantz, obviously the one that's going to be credited with the loss. And Sean Skinner picked up stolen base number 13. If he was up at the big league level the entire season, there's a good chance he'd probably be leading the MLB in stolen bases, as he's in 8th place right now, and he has only played 34 games. Somehow that speed attribute is not going up, but Beats me. Sean Skinner, though, swiping some bags here. That's something that is nice to see, as we are going to lose the series against the Yankees, and it has been a rough start to the month of July, only winning on the 4th of July. We do have a 2-game series upcoming here against the Colorado Rockies, where we should probably win both of those games. Griffin Canning on the mound here, as we're 51-41. Make that 51-42 as we drop this one 3-1. These are series that you need to win. Only 5 hits as a team. A home run for Logan O'Hoppe. And Griffin Canning allows 3 earned through 6 innings of work. Chase Silseth did a pretty solid job in his relief appearance, as Framber Valdez is on the mound. And we do win this one 7-5. 4 hits for Zach Neto. Deshaun Knowles with 2 hits as well. And 2 home runs for Zach Neto. So bringing on the power in that game. Stolen base again for Sean Skinner. And then it was Fernando Guillen going 7 innings, allowing 2 earned. Tanner Scott blows the save. But Chase Silseth and Andrew Wantz do help us out as the game goes on. We do split the series against the Rockies. And now we have a huge series upcoming against our division rivals. The draft is only 2 days away. First game against the Rangers, we win 7-1 as we continue to beat our division opponents. 3 hits for Trout, 2 hits for Rengifo, O'Hoppe, and Shanuel. A home run for Mickey Moniak. John Means gives us 8 innings, allowing only 1 earned. Robert Stevenson has a pretty good bounce back outing as Sean Skinner picks up another stolen base. Can we make it 3 games in a row? As Patrick Wisdom is eligible to be reinstated from the injured list, we're going to go ahead and... Should we activate him here? Should we keep him on a 60-day IL and then kind of readjust once we hit the All-Star break? I'm going to go ahead and activate him here, as we did win this one 4-0. It's a 3-hit day for Austin Hayes. That's good to see. Zach Neto with 2 more hits. A home run for Austin Hayes. And then Michael King gives us 6 solid innings, 10 strikeouts. Chase Silseth and Tanner Scott shut it down the rest of the way. But now comes a hard decision. We have to find somebody to send down, because this team has been pretty solid. I mean, Deshaun Knowles, 294 average right now. He's going to be really hard to send down. Sean Skinner, 221 average. I mean, he's probably the most likely candidate to get sent down. But with his speed, I think he provides a lot on the base paths. 15 stolen bases. It's a pretty hard decision to make here. Deshaun Knowles has been playing really good. Obviously, only 9 games, 34 at-bats, so he's probably due to take a step back in a way. Andy Ibanez has been really good for us. Christian Bethancourt, our backup catcher, we can't send him down. And then there's also a chance that we could send a pitcher down and make our bullpen smaller. That is something we could think about doing here. Robert Stevenson has struggled. Maybe we can send him down and allow him to get some innings down at AAA. But I like having a bullpen that is, that we have a lot of arms in. It makes it so that everybody can kind of stay fresh. I think, unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to, unfortunately, send Deshaun Knowles down. Like I said, Sean Skinner probably should be the guy we send down, because he's struggling. But the stolen base threat that he, has is something really that I really like. He's seeing a lot of good progression. And he's a positive 0.9 WAR player. As opposed to Deshaun Knowles, I'm curious to see what his WAR is at the moment. He's a positive 0.2 WAR player. So Deshaun Knowles, we're going to send down to AAA. I don't really like that I had to do that. And then we'll go ahead and send somebody down to AA, probably Oscar Gonzalez. No real reason to show you guys who I'm sending down to single A and stuff like that. But one thing that I will mention, I want Deshaun Knowles to definitely get at-bats down at AAA. He's not going to be riding the bench. We need this guy to get as many opportunities as he can, because we may need to call him up again in the future. You never know, because if Sean Skinner really does start to struggle, which he already is, but if he really starts to really decline, we're going to have to replace him. But what we're going to do here is we're going to have Kemp Alderman play in left field, and that's just going to last until Patrick Wisdom is set to play again. Well, 54 and 42 as it's time for the draft. We are the first place wildcard team at the moment. We're in a really good spot. I'm really pleased with the way this team is playing. And my favorite stat to look at so far this season is our 20 and 4 record against division opponents. That is incredible. We still have to play the Rangers again in the month of July, and we also have this series against the Seattle Mariners. But we are doing really good against our division opponents. 4 straight wins. It's time to simulate to the draft here because this is why you guys are all watching this video. Oh, I have our draft queue loaded up here. Kenji Nakamura is the #1 guy on my list. Roger Funk #2. And then Mikey Cruz, I'll talk about him real quick. He is a huge riser here. 7th on our board now, 21st on the MLB board. Looks to have some really good speed. The potential 75 to 95. Like I said, can play shortstop as well. The hitting, I don't know. He's somebody that if he was there and guys like Kenji Nakamura and Roger Funk have been taken, Mikey Cruz is somebody that I could definitely consider drafting. Well, my neighbor has decided to mow his yard. What a bum. No, I'm just kidding. So if you guys do hear a lawnmower in the background, just know that's not me mowing my lawn in my gaming room. As we're going to get the draft started here, we have some players on our board that I am interested in. As we pick 13th in this year's draft, the first pick of the 2026 MLB player draft is Manuel Valenzuela. He's somebody who was on my list as a potential first-round selection. We only had him 50% scouted, though. The second pick here is the New York Mets, and they're going to take Manny Vesperis, the third baseman that we just didn't look at. It looks like he's going to be really good, though. We didn't scout him. I didn't think he'd be available, and I just wasn't really that intrigued with him. The third pick in the draft is going to be Kenji Nakamura. That's my favorite player taken by the Washington Nationals. Well, now we cross him off our draft board. Roger Funk could definitely be that selection here. 4th on our board, 66th on the MLB board. Johnny Lucca, the other catcher, is going to be taken by the Detroit Tigers. He looks to be really good, the most well-rounded player probably in the entire draft. Alan Yokoyama, starting pitcher who fell on our board, does throw left-handed. I don't know if I would have considered him for that first selection, but he's taken by the Rockies. As Kazuhito Onu is taken by the Cleveland Guardians, another catcher. So funny to see Roger Funk kind of getting slept on here in these first couple of picks. Chris Griffin taken, who we did not scout at all. I'm just hoping that we have one of our top interested guys available to us. Alan Bennett taken. He's somebody that could definitely be kind of that fast switch hitting contact hitter that the Giants would like. Mikey Cruz is taken by the Toronto Blue Jays. So that definitely makes it an easier, decision. Because if it was Mikey Cruz or Roger Funk, I don't know who I would have taken. I do like Mikey Nunez a lot. Mikey Cruz. Torrey Nunez taken. Somebody that I thought looked really good. I didn't scout him, though. But now with two picks away, we're just hoping that nobody takes Roger Funk because I think he's going to be the guy that we take with this selection. Marco Villarreal taken, a second baseman who can only play second base. Hits lefty. But I think Roger Funk's going to be the selection here. You also have Pablo Marrero, somebody who we could probably take with that second selection. So that's why I'm not really wanting to rush that one. There's not a whole lot of infielders here that I have on the list here. The goal was probably to find some more infielders than I have down here. In next year's draft, let me just point this out. In next year's draft, I am not going to be scouting any outfield prospects. It's going to be nothing but pitchers and infield guys. You got Eldridge Jernigan as somebody who's also available. I love his bat. It's one of the best in this entire draft. But I think Roger Funk's got to be the selection here. He's the guy who is going to bring the most to the table. Question is, Ramon Ramirez is in our farm system right now, and he's a very good catching prospect. Roger Funk can play third base, though, so maybe that's something to think about. Maybe we draft him to eventually play third base, but I'm going to take Roger Funk. I'm not going to overthink this here. He's 66th on the MLB board, 4th on ours, 80 to 95 potential. The overall is going to be pretty low to start, but I think he was our best option in that situation. But we don't pick again until pick 47. I think Pablo Marrero is my first option here, as Eldridge Jernigan is taken by the Miami Marlins. I'm interested to see how he's going to turn out, what his ratings are going to look like. More than likely a B potential guy, but geez, that bat is going to be incredible. He would have been somebody that would be hard to pass up on if he was there for our second selection. But like I said, I think Pablo Marrero is going to be the guy that I go with next. Kenny Pinnock is there. Barney Kent. You know, if we want to go left-handed hitter, Phil Weiss is there. Thomas Shaw. But if we want to go pitcher here and we want to go left-handed pitcher, we only have a couple of options here. Corey Hardin, and then you got Pablo Marrero, of course. Question is he also on other teams' radar? As Juan Villarreal is taken by the New York Yankees. Well, you're going to have to shave your beard, buddy. I don't know why the Yankees would take somebody who has such a magnificent beard. Teddy Curry, somebody who fell way down our board, 100% scouted, and he does not look good at all. He is a left-handed pitcher, so he's somebody that I was interested in, but once I scouted him and saw that he's just terrible, I decided that's probably not a good decision, as Phil Weiss is going to come off the board as he's taken by our division rivals, the Seattle Mariners. Kenny Pinnock has been taken by the Houston Astros. He looks like he's going to be a well-rounded player. Obviously, we only have him 40% scouted, so it's kind of tough to really get a true read on him. But he does look like a very well-rounded prospect, as Jose Campillo will be the final pick of the first round. We had him 77% scouted, a starting pitcher from Cuba. Looks pretty solid with that velocity. Billy Wild throws a little wild with that 86 to 91 velocity, but he was taken by the Texas Rangers. Bob Blank, somebody who I really wasn't that interested in, has good power versus lefties, but he was taken by the Milwaukee Brewers. But, you know, I think next year, because we're going to be a team that probably picks more so in the 20s, I think next year what I want to do is I want to find the best bullpen pitcher possible and take a bullpen arm. I think that's probably the move, because you can take a very good bullpen arm in the first round. You can, because they don't really go until this competitive balance pick. Like, look at a guy like Rodney Rasmussen who throws lefty. Look at that potential. Look at the overall to start, 22 years old. Like, this guy's going to be up at the big leagues very fast. And you even got Harold McAllister here as well, who at 20 years old will probably be playing in the big leagues pretty soon. Not to mention the strikeouts per 9 are ridiculous on a guy like Rodney Rasmussen. The fastball, slider, changeup mix, just a nice little mix. You know, I think that's what the plan is next year, is we may try to find the best bullpen arm possible. Either that, or if we can find like a infielder, not an outfielder, because we've taken a lot of outfielders in this series. There's no reason to take a catcher now, because we have two really good ones in our farm system. As we have the Cardinals and the Rays to select ahead of us here. Charlie Spillane is somebody who's also really interesting. Daisuke Kondo is also very interesting. Ken McMullen is the pick for the Cardinals. The overall extremely low to start potentially. And then Bob Whalen taken by the Rays. So this makes our selection very easy. It's going to be Pablo Marrero, 19 years old. The potential looks really good. The overall probably low to start, but a four-seam, slider, sweeping curve, and splitter mix. We need lefties in our farm system. Pablo Marrero is the selection here in the second round. I just hope we didn't get a guy like, I can't even remember his name now, but in our first draft, we took a guy who has ridiculous velocity, but he just sucks everywhere else. Pablo Marrero, hits per 9, strikeouts per 9, probably going to be low. I do like the walks per 9 rating, though. I do like that. And now, since our second selection has been taken here, I don't think I'm going to wait around to, see every selection, because we pick 88 next. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to simulate to our next selection. Barney Kent was taken by the Brewers, so that's somebody who was on our list. He's now gone. Thomas Shaw taken by the Houston Astros. So what do we do here with our 88th pick? You got Daisuke Kondo, who I'm not very interested in, to be honest with you, with that low walks per 9. You got Charlie Spillane, who looks to be pretty solid. 34th on our board. You got Daryl Glass, who looks pretty solid. We just didn't get enough information on this guy. James Fakwa with a nice strikeout per 9. 4-seam slider, 2-seam, and changeup mix. You also got Corey Harden here, who probably isn't going to be that bad. He's another lefty to think about. I think I'll hold on to taking him. And oh my gosh. I didn't realize we didn't have that much time to make our selection. So Daisuke Kondo is going to be our selection. That's wonderful. And now we have nobody left on our board to take. I was probably going to take one of these. Okay, I don't have time to talk now. Is there anybody else? As my Ring doorbell app just went crazy. Is there anybody else here on this list that we've scouted who we just didn't add to our short list that we may potentially be interested in here? Not really. I mean, we're going pitcher heavy in this draft now. We only have 34 seconds to make a selection. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go with either Charlie Spillane in this situation or Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm going to go with Charlie Spillane will be the pick in this situation. The only reason being is because, I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with Spillane. He's got the higher potential. We'll let the game pick it for us. But I wanted to take, more position players here. I screwed that up big time. So we have 2 more selections here. We'll go ahead and simulate to our next selection, as some of the guys that we were interested in are now gone. You got Richard Corona here. Is there any other relief guys who we could think about taking here? 20 years old, I'm going to take Richard Corona here. He's the selection. Looks like another lefty bat for us. And then the last selection is going to be Alejandro Gonzalez. So another left-handed pitcher here. This draft kind of fell apart with that 3rd selection because we just made the mistake of not picking anybody, and the game just automatically took somebody for us. No offense to Daisuke Kondo, but I didn't want you, dude. 5'10", 169 pounds, 18 years old, out of North Dakota. He could be really good. Don't get me wrong. He could be really good. But that overall is going to be way too low. He may be somebody that we just trade as a, trade piece. Yeah, didn't really like that selection there. We're going to simulate to the end of the draft here. We'll try to get these guys under contract as we're looking to pull off this sweep. Okay, this is the game simulated this game against the Rangers. I was like, I don't remember this happening. A 2-hitter. Both of our hits. A double for Kemp Alderman and then a 2-run bomb for Nolan Shanuel. Jordan Montgomery got shelled in this game. Everybody that pitched got shelled, as we're looking to at least win the series as opposed to tying it. And we are going to split the series. I'm curious. We do not have anybody in this year's Home Run Derby. We do drop this one 0-7. Only 3 hits in this one. Yeah, the Rangers came to play in these final 2 games here, as we're 54 and 44 at the All-Star break. So we have 1 All-Star, and that is going to be Mike Trout. He's having an incredible season, by the way. 288 average, 25 home runs. We're not going to play the All-Star game. I'm waiting until we can get some more players. As Patrick Wisdom, how much longer does he have before he's back? He should be back before the end of the All-Star break, you would imagine. Yeah, there we go. So Patrick Wisdom is back, so we'll go ahead and start plugging him back into the lineup here. He'll be our DH. Well, the All-Star break is over. It's time to get back into the action here. 54 and 44. I don't know when we start signing our draft picks, but I got to imagine it's going to be really soon. Now, 2-5, we lose against the Mariners to kick off the true second half of the season here. 2 hits for Mike Trout, 2 for Zach Neto, a home run for Alec Boehm, and a 5-2 loss. Chase Silseth, the one who struggled out of the bullpen. Let's see if we can't get some of these guys under contract here. Roger Funk was our first selection. We'll go ahead and try and offer a $3.8 million, and he will accept it. Roger Funk, our first selection, is under contract. I don't know why he's wearing bowling shoes, but we're going to have to get rid of that. Pablo Marrero, our second selection. Somebody that I'm actually pretty excited about has decided to decline the Suke Kondo. Let's go ahead and offer him. He has accepted. He could be a really good, high potential pitching prospect. My thing is the overall is just going to be so low that there's really going to be no point to even try to build around him. So we can't do anything else. And unfortunately here, if we go to Richard Corona, there's no way to actually... I'm actually going to plug him in here in this situation. Just because with 35% interest, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this guy under contract. But we will finalize that there. We do have 2 guys under contract. We need to get back on the winning track. It's another loss to the Mariners here. Home run for Mickey Moniak. John Means allows 2 earned, but Chase Silseth is really starting to struggle now. Robert Stevenson as well. Ronnie Enriquez gives up an earned run. I don't want to say the wheels are falling off on this train here, but 54-47 as we get swept by the Seattle Mariners. 2 hits for Kemp Alderman, a home run, as Michael King gets shelled. Yeah, that is 5 straight losses, as that is going to put us down to be the 2nd wild card team now. And the Yankees are right there. This season could fall apart if we don't start figuring it out now. So we'll go ahead and offer Pablo Marrero something like 1.76 here. Definitely got to get this guy under contract. We definitely got to change those cleats. As we'll go ahead and add Alejandro Gonzalez here. And we'll do something like that right there. I don't know. We got to get these done right here. We got to be able to bring these guys in. Charlie Spillane is going to be my number 1 priority because I think he is a pretty good prospect. And now another series against another rival in the Texas Rangers. It's another loss. What is going on with this team? 4-for-4 day for Mike Trout, but it doesn't matter when you only score 1 run. Jordan Montgomery. Chase Silseth is, like I said, it's coming to an end, his run. As we're going to finally get back to to win a game. Shanuel, 3 for 3, 2 hits for Patrick Wisdom. Sean Skinner goes 1 for 3. No home runs in this game, but Griffin Canning, pretty good outing. Ronnie Enriquez, might need to see him go down as he is struggling at the moment. Paul Goldschmidt has been DFA'd. And you also got Tyler Matzik here has been DFA'd. He's not really putting together a great season though, so he's not somebody that I would try to put a claim in on. But I am curious in, wow, look at the cold streaks here. 5 of them in the starting lineup. Yeah, that's not good. Eric Mott, he's making his way towards a potential call up here. I know it's been many would think way too long of a time to call this guy up. But we're trying to play it patient with him. He's somebody that I'm extremely excited about. But our starting pitchers are kind of struggling at the moment. Michael King's the one that's struggling the most, though. I don't know if I want to make a deadline acquisition here. I'm going to get a player lock game here. We need to win this series. We have to. So I'm going to get a player lock game in. And I'm going to get it in with Sean Skinner. 221 average is just not cutting it at the moment. We're 55-48. Still in a pretty solid position, but with 5 cold streaks, Mike Trout and Zach Neto, the only guys that are on somewhat of a hot streak at the moment. I don't know what if I'm going to make a deadline acquisition. I want to make that acquisition. If I do, I want to make that acquisition in this episode. But I don't know. Runners on the corner here as Fernando Guillen struggling to start this game out. Ezekiel Duran at the plate. He'll hit this one to Skinner. We're going to attempt to throw the runner out. No running start for Skinner. And had we gotten that running start, we might have been able to make a play. Kind of a boneheaded decision by Skinner. 16 stolen bases, though, is something you can't ignore. He's been really good on the base paths. 221 average, though, pretty weak. As he's facing Sean Manaea, tied for 6th in the American League in stolen bases. The clutch at 57 is really low. I'd like to see that more in the 60s. It's going to be quickly 0-2. As our scoring threat could potentially go down the drain with a strikeout here. Sean on Sean. What do you got, Sean Skinner? He's going to go down swinging on the slurve. An ugly at bat. And that's going to end up producing a 3-run bomb by Mike Trout. Potential MVP guy. Man, Mike Trout has been excellent this entire series. In the first year, he did struggle a little bit, as Alec Boehm's going to make that play. Yeah, in the first year, he definitely did struggle. But he has been very good these past 2 seasons. One guy that I do worry about a little bit is going to be Patrick Wisdom. Because with that injury and being out for so much time, is that going to affect the rest of his career, potentially? As we go bottom 4, runners on first and second for Sean Skinner. Sean Manaea is still on the mound here. As this one's going to be hit to the third baseman. The play will be made at first. Good pick by Lowe. And Lowe with an RBI ties the game at 7 as Luis Severino comes on the mound for the Rangers. Oh my gosh, if this was any other hitter, they would have crushed that. Sean Skinner improving that contact against righties, though, something that I do like. And even the power seeing some improvement. 37 power. Still really low, as that's going to be popped up behind second base. Good contact, good swing timing, just weak contact. All right, Mike Trout with an RBI single. So it's been 2 guys for the Rangers and the Angels that have produced all of the RBIs in this game, as this one's going to be hit to left center for the second out, as Andrew Wentz is 1 out away from closing this one out. And he will do just that. So Sean Skinner goes hitless. That's going to make that average go down to 216. Renifo and Bohm with a pair of hits. Mike Trout did it all on his own in this game, as Chase Silseth, Tanner Scott, and Andrew Wentz do their thing in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning on the mound. But the big thing is Sean Skinner is struggling. Is it time to potentially send him down? I don't know. And another thing you have to ask yourself is, do you think about potentially trading for a bullpen arm potentially? It's time to get back to signing some draft picks here. Charlie Splain's the next guy we're going to try and sign. He has decided to sign. He's somebody I'm excited about for sure. Next is going to be Alejandro Gonzalez and Richard Corona. Running out of time on these guys, though, that's for sure. As now we have a series against the 56-49 Kansas City Royals. This is a team that's going to be right there with us for this wild card spot. I mean, this is a series that you have to win. First game is going to be against Cole Reagans, and we're going to drop this game 4-7. 3 hits total for Andy Ibanez. As Chase Silseth struggled, Jimmy Herget struggling. How about Michael King versus Kyle Wright? Another loss. Shanuel with 3 hits. Kemp Alderman homers. And it's Michael King who's continuing to struggle. As we're down to 56-50. We hold the final wild card spot. The Yankees are only 2 games back. Alejandro Gonzalez, we're going to try and get him under contract here. We'll offer him more. And sorry to say, man, but when you decline that kind of offer, maybe you don't deserve to be on this team. Let's get a player lock game in here with Patrick Wisdom. Finally back from injury. And he's on a cold streak already. 5 guys on a cold streak. It's Trout and Shanuel now on the hot streaks, as Trout's continuing to be on a tear at the moment. The Royals have some guys on cold streaks as well, though. The season's kind of starting to level out a little bit for us. Trout hits a home run, though. He has been our all-star. And, with the season that he's having, you have to produce something. You have to give him weapons. You got to do something to give Mike Trout an opportunity to get into, the Fall Classic. You have to. Because if Mike Trout is never going to get an opportunity in the playoffs, he's gotten one in his entire life. If he's never going to be given an opportunity, you just need to get rid of him. Patrick Wisdom's down 2-2 in the count. Brady Singer on the mound. Here's the pitch. Wisdom's going to foul away the slider. I'm due for a Patrick Wisdom home run. We haven't gotten one in a while. Obviously, that's because he's been hurt, but Logan O'Hoppe on deck. 9 home runs on the season for him. He's not producing a whole lot of power for us. This is going to be a base hit for Wisdom, though. Man, I like hitting with Patrick Wisdom. I think that we will pick up his option, as it's a team option. I think we're going to go ahead and pick that up here at the end of this season, as we're going to look to steal second base here. Here is Patrick Wisdom on a move, and he is safe at second. I thought the tag got there. Only 3 stolen bases for Patrick Wisdom on a season, but he's in scoring position now for Logan O'Hoppe. Here's the 2-2. O'Hoppe's going to hit this one. Sounded good off the bat, but it's going to be Kyle Tucker making the play and right. This Royals team has got some all-stars on it. They decided to finally spend some money, as we're down 2-1 now after a Marcell Ozuna 2 RBI single. Patrick Wisdom quickly down 0-2 in the count. What do you got here, Wisdom? Fouls away the sinker to stay alive in the count. Trout on third and Alec Boehm on first. Here's the pitch from Singer. It'll miss the zone to run the count 1-2. Love to hit one in the water fountain there in center field, or the waterfall, whatever you want to call it. Come on, he didn't really go around on that. That's going to end the top half of the third. I don't think he went around. Home plate umpire didn't care, though, as we're now down 4-1. We're really struggling at the moment. Now, one thing I would hate to do is I would hate to do the same exact thing that the 2023 Angels team did, where you got rid of all these prospects and you brought a bunch of guys in and you sucked. And you ended up DFAing the guys. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to bring in a whole bunch of guys. I might bring in one reliever and maybe you bring in one hitter. There's a couple of guys that I do have in mind. I'll have to take a look at how they're performing and see if we can't get a deal done potentially. As this one's going to be crushed to right field. It will get down and at least score one, as Wisdom's going to hold up at first. Could have definitely extended that. 105 off the bat and an RBI for Patrick Wisdom. Logan O'Hoppe 0 for 2. O'Hoppe's going to hit this one to the shortstop. An excellent play by the shortstop, and O'Hoppe will be safe at first. The score 4-3 now, so 2 runs here in the 6th inning. And then Kemp Alderman with a 2-run with a 2-run bomb to give us a 5-4 lead. Sometimes you just can't speak. I was going to say blast, and I wanted to say bomb as well. That's a blast. That's a bomb. Patrick Wisdom, solo blast, bomb. Over the fountain. 6-4 the score. Welcome back. 13th home run on the season. 488 feet. Holy. Happy to have Patrick Wisdom back in the lineup. That's some power you just don't see every day. And if I'm not mistaken, Kauffman is a place that's extremely hard to hit home runs at. It's like one of the more pitcher-friendly ballparks. To hit a ball 488 feet there is crazy. 6-4 we win the game. 3 hits for Patrick Wisdom. Mike Trout, Wisdom, and Alderman all home run in this game. Jordan Montgomery struggled to start, but our bullpen kind of helped each other out to pick up the victory. So we avoid the series sweep. That's something good to see. 57-50. That is going to put us in that second wild card position here. So I think if I were to make a move here, I think I'd want to bring in a lefty. The reason being is because Tanner Scott is our main lefty, but Caleb Ferguson has just kind of been unreliable this season. Robert Stevenson, 4.5 ERA, 1.39 whip. That's been good for a 0.5 WAR, which is somehow better this year. It's probably because of the strikeouts per 9. The home runs per 9 are down as well. He's just walking a lot of guys. Ronnie Enriquez, I've liked what I've seen. He's a 0.3 WAR player. Has not given up a home run. The FIP is in a good spot. You know, I don't think there's a reason to mess with this bullpen. I think they're going to figure it out. They're showing the signs of figuring it out. If we go to the player statistics here with pitchers, I don't think we have any negative WAR pitchers. No, Jimmy Herget's a 0.1 WAR guy. But, yeah, no negative WAR players. So that's something that's pretty interesting to look at. As far as position players go, I got to imagine there's a couple of guys here that are giving us a negative WAR. Austin Hayes, yeah, Austin Hayes hasn't been too good. Sean Skinner's given us a positive WAR season. And he's seeing progression. I think I'm going to stick with this team. Austin Hayes may be the one guy that you think about, you know, with that big contract you gave him. And he's not really producing. 235 average, only 4 home runs. Yeah, he's just not producing. How about J.D. Davis, who's having a career year, 3.2 WAR, which is easily the best of his entire career. 16 home runs so far this season, which is only 6 away from his career high. He's been really good for the Mets, and the Mets are a team that is really bad. 44-62, one of the worst in baseball. I'm going to try and work out a deal here because I'm going to go ahead and take, can I get to him, Austin Hayes, and I'm going to send him down to AAA. I understand we spent a huge contract on him, but he's not worked out so far. Maybe next year he can be better for us, but I'm I'm going to send him down, and I'm going to try and bring in JD Davis here to propel this offense, as I think that's what kind of move I want to make here. We're going to get through the Toronto series here. They've been really bad as well. We're going to get through this series, and then we're going to go ahead and make a move. Or we're going to at least attempt to make a move. First game, we do drop this one 5-8. I don't know how we're losing against some of the worst teams in baseball. Sean Skinner's average is about to drop below 200, which is not good. Griffin Canning really struggling here. Fernando Guillen on the mound. 5-6, top 7. Mickey Moniak needs a triple for the cycle, but I don't care about the cycle. We need to win this game, and we're going to lose at 11-6. So we're going to lose a series against one of the worst teams in baseball. And just like that, the Guardians are right there with us for that final wild card spot. John Means on the mound. We do win it 6-1. I think I messed up. I think I forgot to sign these draft picks. Well, we're going to have to go all out on these guys. Alejandro Gonzalez didn't want the decent contract, so we're going to give him 1.03. He decides he will sign with us. And then Richard Corona's the last guy. We're just going to give him everything we have here. If he didn't decide to sign, beats me. And he doesn't really look good anyway, so that's just something to think about. But we do win the finale against the Blue Jays 6-1. 2 hits for Kemp Alderman in that game as he homers. Bohm and Wisdom also homering, as John Means gives us a very good outing. 58-52 is where we are at the moment. Today is the trade deadline. So Robert Stevenson, yeah, this is his final year. I don't know if I want to send him down. I don't think we're going to be trading for a bullpen arm, though, or even a starting pitcher. I think we're going to stay put where we're at. There's some guys that I do like Guillermo Avalos has been really solid down at AA. He's still young, though, 19 years old. Look about Herb Saunders, though. Since trading for him, this dude has been ridiculous. Really good pitcher so far. And then looking at the AAA squad, there's some guys that I like, but nobody that I can call up to that that I really would rely on. Chase Chaney's been really good, though. Maybe you could call him up, but Eric Mott, he's going to be probably a September call-up. But I think that I have a trade in mind of who I want to go after. You guys already know who it is. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get a deal done. This could be stupid. I don't know. I think he just brings more to the table than what we've seen at the moment. This may be looked at as a crazy trade here, but I'm going to throw in Jim Rosenberg, a 19-year-old, a potential starting pitcher who I don't think has a future with us at all, and Mac Horvath. He's 23 years old, B potential. You know what? I'm not doing that. Tanner Scoble is going to be who I throw in here. Looks pretty solid as far as that contact versus lefties go. Defensively looks like a really good player. That's what I'm going to throw in. You're throwing in a potential pitcher who's not very good, but Tanner Scoble, who is a pretty solid prospect. For JD Davis, who is having a career year, like I mentioned. Mac Horvath is somebody that I would like to move, but I think I'll save him for a different trade. Big reason I want to move him is because he's just not progressing the way you would like. So it's going to be Tanner Scoble and Jim Rosenberg for JD Davis. It's the second trade we've made this season. But now we're going to go ahead and send Austin Hayes down to the AAA level. Just has not performed the way you would like him to perform. So that's really the biggest thing to look at in this situation. And then we're going to send Joe Adell down to the AA level, and then we'll call up some kind of starting pitcher to take over Jim Rosenberg's spot. What about this guy right here? Jack Kachanowicz. But JD Davis here, he's going to be batting here against lefties. I think we may even give him an opportunity here against righties. Kemp Alderman has been pretty solid for us, though. That's the only reason that I haven't really made that decision yet. But that is going to be the only move that we make. We did make one earlier. I don't remember who it was for. It was for Herb Saunders, Reed Detmer's trade. But we're going to get a player lock game. Here's a big trade. Edwin Diaz is going to the Mets the Yankees. He's going to the Yankees from the Mets. The Mets in return are going to get Alexander Vargas and Brock Selvage. So the Mets are making some moves here. We have 41 guys on our 40-man roster. Can't have that. I think we're going to remove Who do we want to remove here? What about Chad Walsh? Let's go ahead and remove him from our 40-man. He'll have to clear it through waivers, but I don't think he'll have any issue making that happen. As the Miami Marlins are 54-54, we'll get a player lock game in here with our new addition, J.D. Davis. 274 average, 16 home runs. We're trying to build a team that can make the playoffs. Sean Skinner could be sent down. We're not going to make a move to replace him, though. This is probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. J.D. Davis was replaced in the first inning defensively. I think I have him in the wrong position. So we're going to have to wait to see J.D. Davis's first game as an Angel, and we lose the game. Yeah, that was one of the wackest things I've seen this game ever do. Chase Silseth struggled. Caleb Ferguson struggled. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I was happy to see J.D. Davis make his first ever appearance for us, and that didn't happen. So we'll make sure we fix that so that he's not playing in right field, because if he plays in right field, that's not one of his positions. The game is just automatically going to replace him. So that's pretty frustrating. Make sure I don't make that mistake again. So the trade deadline is over, and I'm simulating past it. I'm not going to make any more trades. I did what I wanted to do. Horacio Walker has been incredible down at the AA level, by the way. He's somebody to really look out for. He's only 18 years old. We'll go ahead and look at him real quick. He's only 18 years old, but 323 average, 13 home runs. He's really good. He's got speed. He could be 19 years old when he makes his MLB debut. The OPS at 923 is incredible. The progression he's seen is incredible. Really like Horacio Walker and what he could potentially bring to the table. So the Guardians are a half game back in the wild card standings. We're going to get a player lock game in finally with J.D. Davis. We got him playing left field, so he shouldn't be replaced this time. But we need to win this game here. We can't drop this game against the Marlins. I don't know what the rest of this season, this season is going to hold for us. I don't know how many more episodes we'll have in the season. Preferably, I would like to get through the rest of it within the next couple of episodes. But we've really started to struggle, and July was a terrible month for us. So it definitely changes, the ball game up a little bit. As we go top one here, Jordan Montgomery on the mound, that's going to be caught by Alec Boehm at third base. And we are losing 3-1. Can't catch a break out here. Sandy Alcantara on the mound here for the Marlins. 3-1 the score as J.D. Davis swings through the 101-mile-per-hour fastball. So Davis down 0-2 in a count for his first at-bat in an Angels uniform. And he's going to go down swinging on the very good 12-6 curve by Sandy. It's his first strikeout, and we're losing 10-1. Might as well simulate the rest of this game. This team is falling apart at the moment. August and September would need to be really good months for this team, or we're not going to make the playoffs. And our window is closing with Mike Trout because he's getting up there in age. He has seen regression this year, even though he's playing through it. He has seen regression. And truly, at the end of the day, the window is closing to win a World Series in Mike Trout's time in Anaheim. As Davis is going to put a charge into this one to left center field, but it is going to be run down by Jazz Chisholm. Make it 11-1 as James Wood hits a solo shot. Yeah, this team's falling apart right now, and I don't know how we're going to dig ourselves out of this hole that we're in. We haven't won a series, I don't think, in the entire month of July. Now we're into August, and we're still not winning series. And with a Guardians win, the Guardians could take over that wild card spot, and we could be out of the playoff hunt altogether, as Davis is going to crush this one at deep left field. It is off the base of the wall. This should be an RBI for J.D. Davis. Here's the relay, and it's an easy RBI. No reason to get excited over it, though, as we're going to trim the lead to 9. J.D. Davis has a pretty smooth swing, though. Kemp Alderman to the plate now. He's 0 for 2. As this one's going to be hit to the first baseman. He will beat Kemp Alderman to the bag for the final out. 11-2 the score, as J.D. Davis will get probably one more opportunity as Sandy Alcantara is trying for the complete game. Alcantara, however you say it. When you really start to think about how to say it, that's when you start sounding like an idiot saying it. Alcantara. I don't know how to say it. as JD Davis will go down swinging in 3 pitches. Well, 14-4, we get crushed. 2 hits for O'Hoppe, 2 for Neto. Jordan Montgomery allows 6. Silseth allows 4. Ben Joyce allows 3. Just an ugly game and an ugly start to the second half. Well, there's my Ring doorbell again. I keep forgetting to silence my phone, so if you guys are hearing that, I do apologize. As the Guardians did win, and due to that, we are now out of that wild card spot. 58-54. Final game here, we do drop it 2-4. We get swept. 2 hits for Patrick Wisdom. Griffin Canning, 5 innings of work. Just ugly. Just at the end of the day, it has been ugly. And the schedule really doesn't get any easier. We're going to have 2 series against the White Sox where you would think we would win them. But you never know, because the way we've been playing, that's not going to be guaranteed. 58-55 is our record at the moment. We're 2 games back of that wild card spot now. So all of a sudden, our season has been flipped on its head. We're 11.5 back of the Astros. Yeah, this season has definitely been flipped on its head. 58-55. Let's go ahead and view our draft picks here. First guy, Roger Funk. He's going to be 60 overall to start. A potential. The contact versus lefties looks very good. Pretty good arm as well. Speed he's extremely slow. I like that vision, discipline. The clutch is pretty low though. Kind of reminds me of Sean Skinner a little bit. Roger Funk though is going to be somebody to watch out for. I think he could be pretty interesting. Pablo Marrero, lefty. He looks pretty solid. I like that walks per 9, 62 overall to start. So I do like his overall to start as opposed to like 55, which would be way too low. He's got a 4-seam slider, sweeping curve, and splitter mix. Daisuke Kondo, I think we nailed this selection here. The walks per 9 is not anything to be excited about, but even though we didn't want to take this guy, the game took him for us. He looks pretty solid. 4-seam curveball, changeup, cutter mix, which I do like that mix. I like it a lot. He's a righty, 64 overall to start, A potential. We got some really good pitching prospects now. And now there's probably no reason to look at pitchers in the next 2 drafts, to be completely honest with you. Roger Funk, I'm excited about. We'll have to see how he pans out. And then you got Charlie Spillane, 18 years old. B potential, though. So that's pretty interesting. Doesn't look too bad. So another pitching prospect. Richard Corona is terrible. And then Alejandro Gonzalez. Maybe he goes to the bullpen, potentially. Maybe he could be a bullpen pitcher. 66 overall, C potential. I don't know. The class is not anything to really be excited about. But at the same time, there was no reason to be disappointed in these top 3 guys that we took. Roger Funk looks really good. 60 overall, 90 potential. Pablo Marrero, 62 overall, 91 potential. And Daisuke Kondo, probably the best of all of them. Manuel Valenzuela was taken by the Athletics. He looks pretty solid. But Marshall Coe is somebody who has 97 potential. That's something. What about Hiroyuki Wannabe? Ooh, Milo Larson, somebody we missed on. I can't remember. I think he was taken after our selection. He looks really good, and I think that I did scout him, and for some reason he dropped, but he looks really good. Eldridge Jernigan looks pretty solid. B potential guy. Somebody to really watch out for. Manny Vesperis does look pretty solid for the Mets. Cannot lie. 92 potential, 70 overall to start. Kenji Nakamura. You know what? I don't think we missed on this pick at all. He looks pretty solid, but I think that I like Pablo Marrero and Kondo more than Kenji Nakamura, to be completely honest with you. Miguel Ramos looks like a really good prospect. 19 years old, B potential. I can't remember if he was available with our selection. The power is not there, but contact versus righties looks really good. Padres got themselves a pretty solid prospect here. Alan Bennett as well looks really solid. Him and Miguel Ramos look pretty similar. Bennett will provide a little bit more power, though. And Mikey Cruz looks pretty solid. He's somebody who the Blue Jays, they got themselves a pretty solid prospect here. And And I really don't think there was anybody else that I was... Johnny Luca, potential is actually pretty low. I mean, it's B potential. You literally can't beat B potential. It's very solid. Teddy Curry looks terrible as predicted. Kenny Pinnock has not signed with the Astros, so that's something to think about. Thomas Shaw did sign. He's a C potential guy. Somebody that I was pretty interested in. Of course, we couldn't take him, but Roger Funk, though, 60 overall, 90 potential. That's a good hit. Pablo Marrero, 62 overall with 91 potential. Really good hit. And then Daisuke Kondo, probably the most intriguing of all of them, 96 potential, 64 overall to start. Charlie Spillane could be somebody that we see in the future. Would need to really work on that K per 9, but he's somebody that I'm interested in for sure. Roger Funk, though, is the headliner. Wish he could hit righties better, but it is what it is. I don't know if he'll ever be our #1 catcher. We could see a Ramon Ramirez, Roger Funk 1-2 punch in the future. I don't know. But that is the draft class there. Contract extensions is something we could think about here. And you know what? I'm going to be crazy here. I'm going to simulate this series against the Chicago White Sox before we cap off this video. Well, we went 2 of 3. So, you know, that's better than getting swept or losing this series altogether. Rengifo and Trout and Ohapi all with 3 hits apiece. Only 1 home run, though, as Fernando Guillen gave us a pretty solid outing in the first game. 3-2, we won the second game. 3 hits for J.D. Davis, as Rengifo and Bohm both homer. John Means gave us a pretty good outing. And then in the finale against the White Sox, we did lose 6-4. Bohm and Ohapi with 2 hits, Neto with 3. No home runs, as Michael King pretty much struggled out of the gate. So 60-56 is where we stand. Looking at the standings, we're 12 back in the AL West, but we are right there for that wild card spot. We're going to have to beat out the Red Sox. The Royals are right there as well. The Guardians. It's tough to say what we're going to see for the rest of the season, but we have a tough series upcoming against the Braves. Then we got the White Sox, where I'm just going to simulate right through that. I want to do the same thing with the Cincinnati Reds here, my favorite team in real life, of course. The big series here are going to be the one against the Dodgers and Braves. You got to pick up at least a couple out of those. You got to beat Boston. And then you got the Texas Rangers here as well. The goal is probably to get to this series right here against the Astros in the upcoming video. Probably 2 more episodes before the playoffs, if we make the playoffs, because you got the college football video game coming out, and I really don't want to be in the middle of this season, you know, going slow. So the goal is to probably get done with the regular season before the game comes out, and then we can play the playoff games if we make the playoffs. We're 60-56. I think we're in a pretty solid position at the moment. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.